Good morning, beginning farmer friends. It is a beautiful, chilly, breezy day here at Crooked Gap Farm, and it is the day that I am going to let the chickens out of the chicken wagon. Wait a second, I need to get the ramp. I haven't built the ramp yet, but I did find this big 2x10 right here, so it seemed like a good enough ramp for the moment. I also have to put a hook so I can keep the door open. Oh, there's so many things to do. Here's what's going to happen today. I'm going to let these chickens out, and then I am going to kind of give you an update of what's been going on the farm lately, since, like I said in my previous video, I haven't recorded anything for a week, and there have been a lot of things that I've done. And then I got to tell you about this chicken wagon. Actually, I'll do that first, and then the other stuff. I don't think that many chickens are going to come out when I open this up, unless they just fall out. Oh man, this board's broken. Here's what I did. I fed them in there last night. I'm sure they ate all the feed in there. And I put some feed out here, so hopefully they would see it and want to come out. They also don't have any water in there anymore. I had an automatic water hooked up to a hose. More about that later. And I have the big 80-gallon hog water out there for them. So I'm hoping that they just get brave, come out, eat some feed. I think what I might do right this second though is put a little feed coming down the ramp here. See if that will entice them. They're not going to be enticed. They're always a little cautious. As you can see, so far they are coming out not by choice, but by falling, which is usually how it works. They are, like I said, very cautious the first time they come out of the chicken wagon because it's a whole new world for them. Here's what's going on with the chicken wagon. I'm having a few problems. Problem number one area is this right here. The tarp is ripping because I've got these sharp edges on the steel. I've ripped out some grommets, of course. That had already happened. There's the grommet ripped out, more ripping there. It's not as tight as I would like it to be. I could come back and tighten it up a little bit with the rope, but I'm kind of afraid to do that because of the issues that I am having with it as far as ripping and that kind of stuff. I don't know what the answer is. I know, I guess part of the answer would have been to, instead of put the steel horizontal like this, put it vertical the way it's supposed to be. That would have entailed more cutting, things like that. I probably should have done that. That would have allowed me to put a better corner on there and not have any issues with the tarp. That was the way the stone barns coop was the steel the proper way. My uncle has some wagon gears or some wagon type of things that I'm going to use to put in front of this. I've got some hanging waters, some plastin hanging waters. I'll have to show you those in a little bit. And I'm going to hang those, have a water tank on it, have feed on it, so that when I pull this whole contraption forward, I'll have water and feed in front. I'll have the chicken door in the back, some of them. Oh, there goes one. It just fell out. I've got the egg layers in there too, along with the Freedom Rangers. I'll have the water and feed in the front. I'll have the chicken wagon in the back and the door in the back. And then when I go move fence, all I have to do is just pull the whole unit forward. That's my plan, at least. Of course, I'll make a video of that along the way. But for right now, I've got some chickens out exploring around. I'm going to let them kind of have some peace and quiet as they continue to fall out. And I'll go show you around some of the other things that have happened on the farm since I haven't videoed anything. I'm sort of wondering if I shouldn't have used a less slippery board. One thing that I have changed on the farm over the past week is I took the tire chains off. I guess I figured that the spring is here and that the ice and the snow and the frozen ground are gone. That's a pretty safe assumption since it is almost the middle of April. I've got to take that bottle calf in, that little heifer calf that we have. I'm going to take it in and get it dehorned so when we start milking it, hopefully in the future, we don't have to deal with the horns. But before I do that, I want to clean out this stock trailer a little bit because I also Oh, this door's not going to stay open. I also want to get some pigs this week, I think. One of the other things that I've been doing on the farm lately is I have been ordering stuff. I ordered a 300-pound Kuhl, K-U-H-L, I don't know. It's a 300-pound outdoor feeder for the chickens, a pasture feeder. It's got rain guards on it, and so I can fill that up and keep feed in front of those meat chickens all the time. If I like this one, I'll probably order another one. The other thing that I ordered that I haven't ordered probably for 2 or 3 years is apple cider vinegar. That's going to take its whole own episode as I break down how we use the apple cider vinegar, why we use the apple cider vinegar. But I decided to get back on the apple cider vinegar train after listening to I don't know, really old episode of the Back to the Roots podcast. I was reminded of why I used apple cider vinegar in the first place, and so I ordered it again. Let's see, did I order anything else? I guess that's about it for the stuff that I've ordered, although I will say that I have talked to a freezer person about the walk-in freezer. They're checking on some compressors for me that are single phase, so we don't have to deal with 3-phase because, well, dealing with 3-phase was not going to be an option. There's more going on though, lots more. The other thing that I just mentioned somewhat in passing is that I'm going to be getting some pigs hopefully this week, some feeder pigs, something different than I've ever gotten before. These are some Berkshire, Chester White, Hampshire maybe crosses, and they're coming from 100% organic farm. It's kind of a long story. I'll probably tell that story when I go get those pigs as to why these pigs are available. I'm obviously not going to keep them organic because I'm just not set up to do that right now, but I am excited about getting these particular pigs. All right, let's go see if we can get Daisy into the trailer here. It looks like it's time to get Daisy a bigger halter. She's getting big. Come on, Daisy. Oh, I'll come in first. There's a first time for everything for a little calf like that. This is a little calf's first drive. Well, it appears that the vet is not quite ready for me yet, so I thought we would go check on how these chickens are doing their first day out on pasture. I can tell right now that they are not roaming far from the protection of the shade wagon. Probably that's a couple things. First of all, of course, it's their first time out. They're just not used to it. They don't know exactly how far is safe to go. They've eaten a little bit of feed from the feeder, it appears, but for the most part, they're kind of hanging out underneath the relative shade and protection of the wagon. And then I would say about 2/3 of them are still in the wagon. It'll just take a couple days. Of course, the million-dollar question is how many of these chickens are actually going to go back in tonight, and how many of these chickens am I going to be crawling around on the ground underneath the chicken wagon trying to catch? I'm going to say that I'm going to be trying to catch 75%. That seems a little generous even. Well, yeah, the other thing we did was burn this ditch. Obviously, if you saw the video, you saw that we burned this ditch. And it's kind of coming back nicely. There's still the trees that I want to come in and get. Most of the brush, shrubby stuff in this particular ditch is already dead. There's a few live ones still. So I'm going to come back and hit those with the trimmer, get those knocked down. I still have to tackle the big mess of trees around the corner where the winter lot is. I'm not looking forward to that. That's kind of one of those jobs I've been putting off for quite some time. Generally speaking, disbudding, which is what we did in this case, or dehorning, anything along those lines, isn't something that we typically do. Traditionally, Dexter cattle have horns. They do have some, probably some crossbreeding that brought in some polled cattle genetics to the Dexters, but in the future, I don't see us using that polled genetics anytime. Really, the only reason that we dehorned this little girl right here, or disbudded, there is a difference, is because we're going to hopefully milk her in the future, and not having the horns makes life a little easier. My daughter's excited to see her little calf again, so I'm gonna get her out. Come on.
Dusty.
Yes, she is. You can go brush her off. The other thing I did when I wasn't recording videos was I took this harrow, hooked it up to the 4430, and I drove over every inch of all the pasture here, which is about 20 acres, and I broke up all the cow pies all over the place. In a perfect world, the chickens would be doing that. They would be coming behind the cattle, and they would be exploding all those cow pies, but to be completely honest, I just have never had enough chickens. I don't have enough land where I can just let the chickens roam, otherwise they'll end up on the neighbor's land, and the neighbors don't always like that. So I've got to move them with a fence, and I don't get every inch covered. So in the spring, I like to take that harrow, break everything up. That incorporates it into the ground well. It seems to work out pretty well for us. Thanks so much for watching. There is a ton of other things that I need to give you updates on because a lot happened in the last week. So I will do my best over the coming videos to let you know of what is going on our farm, even some things in the garden that are pretty cool. I hope you guys are having a great day wherever you are, whatever you are doing.